And you guys are good.
Alright then. Let's start this quickly then, since we're behind on schedule. Welcome to Pokémon Red and Implement Glitchless. I think this is one of the most, if not the most known category. This year I'll be running it alone. Last year we did a race. Hope you guys are ready. Setting the options. And then I'm good. Okay, do you count on Nugget?
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
So yeah, this is Pokémon Red. All the characters you see on screen in these text boxes are coming on screen. One frame at a time. Therefore we're gonna call ourselves A. It's one character. It's fast to name, and like, the shorter the names, the more frames we save. One of the first difference you're gonna see in compared to a normal run is we're gonna pick up the PC potion.
Greetings, friend.
Usually, you won't pick up the PC potion because whenever you die to the first rival fight, you would just reset. But since it's a marathon, we need to keep it safe.
Yeah, it's actually possible to continue if you die to the rival fight, but it takes a lot of time to make up the experience, and you'd have to get a potion on Route 1 in order to just make it through the route. So it's just safer to pick up the potion, and it's not that much slower than getting a later one.
Yeah, exactly. It saves, like we lose maybe like 5 seconds, but we could lose minutes from dying to rival 1. Rival 1, it's Bulbasaur, he knows 2 moves, it's Growl and Tackle. They're both 50-50, and we want him to tackle, because anything that lowers our attack would just slow down the fight. So let's hope for some tackles. And there's our first Growl.
Greetings, friend.
And I'm really sorry for some extra audio that's coming in. I can't put it up.
Yeah, I lowered my mic volume. Is it better now?
No, yours is
Well,
fine.
in chat we're saying it's
There's
loud.
It's coming in. And I quickly checked special there. I want to see 12 special because it guarantees 2 shots on all boxes Pokemon. And we got 12 special, so we're good to go.
If you got 11, were you going to catch a Pidgey?
If it's 11 and it's 13 after the Weedle, then yes.
Interesting.
Gives me the chance to switch out. And it's debatable if it's better. Like, it's only like 1 in so many chance that it's actually useful to have a flyer coming to Brock, but I like to play it safe, especially in those marathon runs. And even if you play this game as a race, like, it's never bad to play safe. So on this trip, going back and forward to the marts, we want to kill at least 1 Pokemon, so we are level 8 after the Weedle.
And yeah, there's a pretty big difference between how you would run Red in a marathon like this or a race and how you do it in attempts. Red's pretty unique in that you can kind of control your time. If you're behind where you want to be, you can just take a ton of risks, and if you get lucky, you make it up. But obviously in a race, you just want to avoid dying, avoid major time losses. So, the time that you get in a race or marathon isn't going to be quite as good as you would if you were going for a PB. But there's still a lot of cool strats.
Yeah, most of the strats will depend on like how good the Nidoran is that I'm gonna catch, and if it's good, like I'll be able to do a lot more sort of risky strats, whereas if it's a really bad one, like I can't do the risky strats because it's too risky. Here's our encounter that we're gonna kill. It's a level 2 Pidgey. Dies in 3 hits. A level 2 or level 3 Rattata would have been fine as well. A level 3 Pidgey or a level 4 Rattata like doesn't guarantee die in 3 hits. That's why I didn't kill the first one. Oh, and the audio that was coming through was like, for some reason, my follower alert in another scene of OBS triggered. So, but I turned down the volume now of that. Sorry about that. Buying 8 Pokeballs, maybe overkill, but then again, like, if I'm 66% to catch at some point, like, I can still be unlucky and waste a lot of balls. Here's how we're gonna catch Nidoran. And we're getting it first try all the time. I also switched my Pokeballs and potions there. Like, I don't have to, but it's more of the muscle memory that Pokeballs is in slot 1. Next up is Viridian Forest. I'm gonna pick up the 3 potion here. Like, any potion here is good as long as I can pick it up fast, and this is just 1 tile away.
So we're not catching 2 Nidorans?
I did think about that. I also thought about like putting like a memory hack onto Gambate to show me DP so I know when to catch a second one. I didn't do both. We just have to hope this one is a good one. I think most people know like the special pattern that we walk here in Viridian Forest. I try to walk on all the tiles that have a flower in the bottom right corner of the tile. And the reason for that is the bottom right corner of a tile determines what encounter you're gonna get. And in the original Japanese version, I think it was the bottom left corner. But somehow when they ported it to English, they made it the bottom right corner, and therefore the flowers make me not have any encounters at all, because it doesn't know an encounter for a flower. Ooh, and that's the first Gen 1 miss of the game. Weedle Gen 1 missed Poison Sting. So yeah, that's Gen 1 for you. Even though a move is 100% accurate, there's still a 1 in 256 chance that it does miss without an exact accuracy. Right. perfect Weedle fight. We didn't get poisoned. All was good. This fight can go a lot worse when you get poisoned because it adds text at the end of every turn. And now I saw my Nido has 15 HP, and that's the first sign of a bad Nidoran. Let's go. 15 HP there means my HP DV is like 0 to 3.
Hey, Daily.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you can do anything about it, but I'm being told that the Discord is way too loud and you are very quiet still.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Would it help if I lowered Discord? Instead of using a game?
That might, yeah.
Yeah, I tried lowering my volume. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Like my
Okay,
on Discord.
I lowered Discord.
Oh, just like lower it on my computer.
No, I lowered it on my computer. This,
Okay.
So yeah, this is why 12 special at the start of the game is so important, so I can two-shot these Pokemon. Makes it a hell of a lot lesser. 10, 10, 11, 10.
Is that 0 or 2?
Yes, that's 0 too.
Sick. Well,
Like, people were gonna call me out if
Let's
I
have
didn't
fun.
get a daily rant, so...
can this be 0-15? That would be nuts.
I'm gonna potion up here. Tackle will kill. And he does bite, it's fine. So now let's see the level 8 stats. Let's see 15 speed. No, 14 speed.
So this isn't the worst, actually. I'm
No,
gonna lose a lot of time on Route 3, but this Nido can do pretty well in the late game.
yeah, until you miss the, like, the Alakazam, Mach, and Venomoth range in one run.
Yeah.
So we're setting the options back to set, so it doesn't ask us if we want to switch off to every Pokemon. Squirtle is done for now, he will be used as a slave from now on. So people that are interested in my DVs, and DVs is like what determines how good a stat will grow over time. My attack is 0 or 2, speed is 10 or 11, and special is 10 or more. On this route 3, I need every horn attack on all the fights, so like as soon as I can finish off a Pokemon with tackle, I will.
And one of the biggest problems with running bad attack like this is you're pretty likely to run out of horn attacks before the end of this route, and then there's a level 11 Metapod at the end of the route that knows Harden, and so you'll just be out of horn attacks and trying to tackle a Metapod to death, and it takes like 5 extra turns. But it could be fine if Daily gets lucky with criticals. Yeah, the difference on this route between like the best attack and this attack is like a minute.
The crits I'm getting now are actually not useful at all.
Yeah, so crits ignore stat changes, so using Leer does not help if he criticals. It's the same damage either way. Actually does a little bit less damage with the critical than it does with the normal horn attack through a Leer.
1 HP, all calculated. I have good defense, he was gonna do 4 damage. So unless that Caterpie would have crit me, I would
And you
be
have
fine.
2. You have 2 DB attack, not 0.
Oh, I have 2, nice.
So it's at 11 speed. Yeah. Yeah, so this fight, call him Short Sky, can be very dangerous with bad defense or bad speed. Attack doesn't matter so much. If Rattata gets off a tail whip on the first turn and then just starts attacking you, you can be stuck in a heal loop. Rattata was pretty nice here, but the Ekans can waste a lot of time.
Yeah, you don't want to see a Rap here at all. And Ekans was nice too. No reps, and I won the last speed tie. And then we have this fight, where everything is fine except for string shots. Nice, string shot fail. Let's go.
Yeah, if you get string shot hit here, then the Weedle gets another turn, and then it can string shot you again. And then you're slower than both the Kakuna and the Metapod, and so they're getting off a Harden before you can damage. That's where you run out of horn attacks, and it can be really slow. This Kakuna, with good attack, it takes 3 turns with no criticals. With bad attack and being slower, it can take like 7.
I did get 1 string shot from the second Caterpie, but with 11 speed, I'm not sure, but I think I'm still faster. Is that correct?
With 1, you're faster, yeah.
Yeah. So good fight again.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good Route 3 for this attack, but this would be like a terrible Route 3 if he had good attack.
So even though I finished off a lot of Pokemon with Tackle, I still have only 6 horn attacks left. And that can get really messy on this fight if I get string shot. Nice, no string shots. Oh, and I did a Leer. We're good. It was all the red bar manipulation.
So yeah, bad attack becomes a little less punishing after this. There's only one more fight where it's a serious problem, and that's Misty. Because we get level 16 pretty early in Mount Moon to evolve to Nidorino, and then we get the Moonstone to evolve to Nido King, and Nido King is pretty OP at this point in the game. There's not a lot that can threaten it.
So even though I had 4 horn attacks left, I still had the 6 shots the last Metapod.
Wow.
So Squirtle was our first slave. This is the second.
Yeah, it's 90% to get a flyer in this grass patch, 10% to get a Jigglypuff.
And we get a red bar catch, which saves some time. Because who needs jingles? Okay, Route 3 done. Up to Mount Moon.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Red Bar later because it's a pretty huge part of the run, even with safe strats. Basic idea is when you're at low health, there's a warning sound that plays, and it kind of covers up a bunch of other sounds. The game just plays right through them, so you save a lot of time by being at low health. And Nidoking is one of the few Pokemon that can maintain low health through big chunks of the run without dying.
Since I've really
So
bad
here you-
attack, I'm gonna pick up Water Gun. Yeah.
The Water Gun is... it's kind of a safe strat. With bad attack, it's... you have to get it.
With bad
they're
attack
just
and
too
in
many.
a marathon setting, like there's no
Yeah.
way you're not getting Water Gun.
There's a lot of minor differences between if you get Water Gun and you skip it. The main concern if you skip it is you have to fight a Geodude with Thrash, and with bad attack that can take 5 or 6 turns because it has Defense Curl. And so then you would send in Squirtle to finish off the Geodude because you could be confused from Thrash, and then you would lose experience and be only level 29 for a very dangerous Pokemon later that has Stun Spore and Sleep Powder, and that Pokemon is not going to die at level 29 with bad attack. So getting Water Gun, you don't have to fight that Geodude with Thrash, and then you've got more experience for later. It's also just safer to have more experience. Like, he'll be getting Water Gun and then fighting a trainer with 2 Geodudes and an Onix with Water Gun. Obviously, if you skip Water Gun, you can't fight that trainer, so you just have less experience.
I would have liked for this Voltorb to just Screech turn 1, but he didn't, sadly.
Yeah, and I guess I can talk about badge boosts. So when Voltorb hit that second Screech, it actually boosted Nidoran's attack. So there's 4 gym leaders that give a boost to one of your stats. Brock gives a boost to your attack, and it's a boost of 9/8 or 1.125. And whenever one of your other stats is modified, so like your defense is lowered or your special is raised, then that badge boost gets reapplied. So in that fight, Daily had a 9/8 boost from Brock's badge boost for the whole fight, and then another 9/8 boost after he was hit by Screech.
But still, for 2 attack DV, that's not enough.
Yeah, even with 2 Screech hits, that was probably not enough.
Okay, now for the hardest threats in the game. Take your hands off the controller. If you accidentally press B here and you cancel evolving, it's gonna take a while to go to the next level and evolve, and you can't learn water gun and it's run over. So far this is an average Mount Moon. We're up to 8 encounters, floor 1. So Xarion, tell us how you did this with only 5 encounters.
What's that?
How do you do Mount Moon with 5 encounters?
You just reset a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we've tried many times to find some method for manipulating encounters, and no success yet. So the RNG in this game is a lot harder to manipulate than later gens. So it's a lot of variance and just pure encounter luck. Fortunately, when you skip Water Gun, then you are looking to get a bit of experience from wild encounters, so like kill 2 or 3 Zubats, and then we also are looking to catch a Paris here, so not all of the encounters are useless. It is unfortunate when you fight this guy for experience and then you get a bunch of encounters.
Last floor, this is where Paris is most common.
15% for Paris on the last floor. Overall, it's about 70% to catch a Paris in Mount Moon. If you don't see one, or if you see one and you critical it, then in this run, because Daily caught a Spearow, he can trade that Spearow for a Farfetch'd that learns Cut and Fly. If he had caught a Pidgey instead, then he would have to catch an Oddish on the route before Vermilion City, which can sometimes take several minutes.
Unless you're going for world record attempts.
Yeah.
First try Oddish every time.
Yeah, Oddish is like, every runner hates to get Oddish, and like 2 of my PBs, like my 2 best times, just got first encounter Oddish and Red Bar to catch. Just sometimes lucky. But for every run like that, there's one that loses 2 to 3 minutes and you just can't PB anymore. Oddish is also slower, but both Oddish and Farfetch'd are slower for later because they don't learn Dig, so you have to teach Squirtle Dig, and then you have to overwrite a move to teach Surf to Squirtle, so that's 7 seconds lost.
Last week I've learned that you can also catch a Clefairy here, so you don't have to overwrite Strength and you can teach Strength to Clefairy. And it actually has a very short cry, so it's really fast doing the boulders. The bad part about this is that's only a 20% catch rate.
Clefairy is actually very strong for doing the speedrun on its own. It's not quite as good as Nidoking, because it doesn't get a one-hit KO move, and doesn't have quite as good stats, but its coverage is amazing. It has a very fast experience curve. Of course, catching it's rare in Mount Moon, and then it's hard to catch, and then you've got to level it up a bit. But it's surprising how fast it is.
And some things that may go unnoticed during this run is frame perfect text box skipping after a jingle. One jingle is getting a level up, which I'm gonna get after this this Fall Torp. And what I'm gonna do is, like halfway through the jingle, I'm gonna press an Alt B, and it will frame perfectly skip my stats every time. And it's one of the small ways to really optimize running this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this run, and it's one of the things that often makes it more fun for me to run than later gen games. Later gen menus are pretty intuitive. There aren't many cool techniques you can use, but in this game, anytime there's a jingle, just about any time, you can just hold A or B to frame perfectly clear it rather than trying to mash through it. Like you can hold B to get on your bike, you can hold B to use a pokeball, all sorts of interesting combinations that the top runners use to menu as fast as possible.
So we got out of Mount Moon without a Paris, sad face. But we have our Sparrow, so we're good for a cut slave. And that's what counts.
So there, Daily took the center. This is the first of 2 times in the run where a center is used not so much to heal HP and PP, but to set the warp point. You saw he picked up an escape rope in Mount Moon, and you can actually use that escape rope in Bill's house after we go through Nugget Bridge and the route after it to warp back to the last Pokemon Center that you used. So that's how we can get back to fight Misty once we're a little bit stronger. You actually have to use the center and not just enter it for that to work. In later gens, you can just enter the center and then that sets a warp point for teleport.
I believe this one is for PP as well. I wouldn't like how many horn attacks.
Yeah, I mean it's never been relevant trying to stretch the horn attacks. Like you just have to center there anyway. But I imagine you could stretch it. Maybe not with this Nido. But...
Yeah, I guess you could like poison sting, like get a Caterpie or something to save on, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean if you fought the hiker, you get thrash early. You can like finish Nido and female with tackle. Yeah, you're going to see several benefits on Nugget Bridge to having fought that hiker. For one, he's guaranteed to get level 18 for that Pidgeotto, so he was able to 3-hit that. If you don't get any Mount Moon experience, you're level 17, and then it's a 4-hit, and that thing has Sand Attack, which is pretty deadly in Generation 1. Later gens, lowering accuracy 1 stage makes you 75% to hit. In this game, it takes you down to 66%. So you can just be stuck missing horn attacks, and then you'll have to switch out. And then there's a couple of Pidgeys on this bridge with Sand Attack. Fighting the hiker in Mount Moon gives him level 20 for the first Pidgey, which on decent attack would give him a chance to one-hit it. Not with this attack. And then for the second Pidgey, he'll be level 23 and have Thrash. Get Thrash one fight earlier, and you're going to see Thrash putting in a lot of work in this run. It's an amazing speedrunning move.
Unlike this Weedle, on level 20 he's a guaranteed range, whereas like with bad attack on level 19.
Fun fact, if you have 0 DB attack, the Weedle actually can live at level 20.
Shh. No one should ever run the 0 attack neither. Nice crit here on the Pidgey. It didn't do quick attack, so it was like 50%. He would have done Sand Attack there. I'm actually being very low on HP due to the rival, and like I may get some intentional red bar later on.
Could also die to the Zubat. Really gonna heal though. Yeah, this fight is annoying with bad attack. All three Pokemon here are damage ranges.
No, there are no damage ranges. Watch this.
Oh. Missing the rat into tail whip calculation. So there, we got a badge boost. Yeah, like you need like 4 attack to guarantee the Rattata. The Ekans can always live. Actually, it always lives with bad attack, and that's a range on good attack. And then the Zubat. Zubat is the most dangerous poke because it has supersonic, and you need 14 attack to guarantee that. Yeah, here you see we get Thrash. Normally we would get it after the next stringer, which has a Pidgey with sand attack. And yeah, those stats are not too bad.
No, my DVs are 2 HP, 2 attack, 10 defense, 11 speed, 12 special.
So Misty won't be too bad with those stats. 12 special means be taking the lowest tier of damage from Bubble Beam and Water Gun. So we'll be able to survive 2 Bubble Beams. Might be able to survive, and bad HP is going to make it a bit tougher. The biggest challenge with Misty is not hitting her Starmie with Thrash, which is essentially guaranteed with good attack, and pretty unlikely with this attack unless he criticals. And then with 11 speed, he'll be speed tied with the Starmie, so that can go. There's a lot of ways the Misty fight can go. And it is the most dangerous fight in the run. A lot of the routing.
Koga's pretty dangerous as well. I died her often.
Oh, yeah, well. Yeah, a lot of the routing for the early game is centered around the Misty fight, getting level 25.
Yes.
You know, things like getting the 2 rare candies, using them. Obviously, it's nice to get Thrash, it's nice to get some levels for Nugget Bridge, but you could consider skipping some of this this extra experience that we've gotten if Misty weren't so difficult below level 25. You get a boost to how much damage you do at levels ending in 0, 3, 5, and 8. So if you enter Misty at level 24, you're not going to 2-hit, and you can never outspeed. So your chance of winning is at best 50%, I mean with the absolute best stats. And if you have the best stats at level 25, it's like a 90% win. So it works out very nicely so that you barely get level 25 for the Starmie, even if you skip Water Gun and skip getting experience in Mount Moon. Yeah, that hiker, that Dailyleaf squad.
Pick up Water Gun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 20 seconds faster to fight that guy than to fight the other guy, the hiker to his left with a Machop and a Geodude. There's a lot of variance in that fight because you can just get a really fast fight if you critical the Geodude with Thrash and it uses Tackle, or you can miss the Machop range. Geodude can spam Defense Curl, you can lose a ton of time. It is faster if you have good stats to skip Water Gun, like 10 seconds, but like you pretty much never see a top runner getting Water Gun, but you'll also never see a top runner running this attack, but we're stuck with it.
That's the joy of being me. 0, 1 or 2 attack guaranteed.
You're an expert now.
So now we're going to the, after this fight, I'm gonna pick up the ether and we're going to the man cave of Bill. Because apparently it's a cave, because we can use the escape rope.
In yellow, actually don't let you escape rope out of Bill's house or out of the fan club in Vermilion, so you actually have to walk back. But they still let you dig out of other buildings, and then in Fire Red, they still let you dig out of Sabrina's gym for some reason.
Oh, that's cool.
But then you can't dig out of like Blaine's gym.
Digging out on those teleport pads is the best feeling. Here's one of those jingles, like just hold B and clear it.
Yeah, since Daily already took the center, just fast start a potion to full health here. Even though he's using 3 potions, it's like 6 seconds faster than taking the center, and
I still have 8 potions left. Like, I've been short on potions. I probably would use the center. Because this Goldeen can be tricky, but it's not. I got Tail Whip, that's good. It could confuse me into hitting myself, or it could use Peck, which made me use a potion, another potion.
So here's Misty. You see that Daily got level 25 off the Goldeen. Normally it's not that important to have 25 at the start of Misty,
But with bad
because the Staryu will die to a Thrash anyway, but with this attack the Staryu would be like a 50-50 range at level 24. So the Staryu's no problem, and then the Starmie can do 3 things. It can Water Gun, Bubble Beam, or X Defend. Bubble Beam is the worst of those. X Defend can be really trolly.
0 damage, Misty. Let's go. This is like so unlikely.
Oh, did you? Nice.
How do I manipulate Red Bar from this?
Yeah, that was about like a 70%, 60, 70% win.
And we keep telling people this is the hardest fight in the game, and we take
Yeah,
damage.
that's always how it goes. We're gonna just like Gen 1 miss on Giovanni and die later when we're talking about how free the late game is of Nidoking. That's why we play Pokemon. Always interesting things. But yeah, Nidoking's crit rate is actually decently high. Crit rates based on your base speed in this game. So Nidoking has a base speed of 85. Your odds of criticaling are roughly 85 over 512. So that's 16.5%.
16.7, right?
Well, it's technically 16.4 because you divide both of those numbers by 2, so it's 42 out of 256. In any case, it's more than twice the critical rate that you have in later gens when it's just a flat 1 out of 16 for all Pokemon. And that's definitely a big asset to Nidoking in this run. you'll never see a good run without like 3 or 4 really nice criticals, and sometimes getting amazing criticals like that can just make a run. You know, a run can be it's kind of floundering, and then you get a few really good crits, and suddenly you're on good pace. Of course, it works both ways. Enemies have a higher chance to critical, especially Pokemon like Misty Starmie, which has even higher base speed than Nidoking, so it's 22% to critical.
And we just had our first jingle skip. We jingle skipped the pickup of full restore. In a scenario where like the music is still changing and you finish a text box before the music changed, you won't get the jingle. So in this case it's like a pretty fast text box and it's on the first tile, so we're able to skip the whole jingle from picking up the full restore. Usually a jingle for picking up hidden items is like you can lose 6 seconds. We get this for 1.
Yeah, and a fun fact there is if your name is longer than I think like 5 or 6 characters, you can't get that jingle skip because the music is already loaded by the time that the entire text box appears. And same thing coming up on the SSN. When he gets the cut HM, there's just no jingle for that. Because his name's short enough that the text box just it's like instant pretty much. And in the Japanese version, the text for like getting cut is just longer because of the characters in Japanese, so you always get the jingle even if you have a short name.
In this next fight on the boat, we only gonna fight the rival to get to the HM of cut. And it can be a tricky fight, like there's quick attacks and hyper fangs and a lot of them can crit, and we usually go into this fight at 20 to 30 HP, and then even then, like we consider that a safe HP, it's still possible to die here, but since we got so lucky with Misty, this fight is now free.
Yeah, this fight is especially difficult if you are trying to get red bar, which the top runners will do if they're trying to PB. The next section after Surge, you are pretty over leveled, you've got a really versatile moveset, so you one-hit pretty much everything until you get to Celadon City, so it saves a lot of time to have red bar with very little risk. You ideally get red bar off this fight, but it's very tricky to manipulate it. You see, he got sand attacked, so you either have to switch or risk that, and then sometimes you'll be risking a 4-turn Thrash, because Thrash lasts 3 turns 50% of the time, 4 turns 50% of the time, and then when it's over you get confused. The Pokemon in this fight don't use the same move every time, there's variable damage. There's all sorts of things that can go wrong if you're trying to get the maximum time save, but if you're just trying to win this fight, it's pretty much free. And the main issue with risking Sand Attack on that fight compared to the rival fight earlier is that, well, number one, you want to use Thrash there. I mean, you don't have to, but it's fastest, and if you start missing in the middle of Thrash, then you're almost certainly going to get confused. And so then being confused and -1 accuracy is really bad. Also, the Kadabra on that fight has confusion, and because Kadabra has high speed, it has a very high crit rate. So yeah, you can go from full health to dead pretty quickly if you try to deal with Sand Attack.
So there's gonna be 2 cutscenes now. It's a good time to stretch my arms. This one takes about 30 seconds, usually just long enough for me to refill coffee. The next one is gonna be ducks. Trading our dead Spiro. It's a good trade.
Yeah, you'll see why we prefer to get Paris and Mount Moon. The cutscene trading for the Farfetch'd named ducks is quite long, and there's nothing you can do to speed it up. And it's always fun when you trade a fainted Spiro, because in return you get alive ducks. And sometimes that's useful. If you get confused on like Surge or the fight immediately after, then you get an additional Pokemon that you can send in. Yeah, coming up is one of the worst parts of the game, which is trash cans. For some reason, the developers thought it was a good idea to just make a puzzle full of RNG, where the location of the second can makes no sense.
It's not even a puzzle. Like, if it was a puzzle,
Yeah,
it would be fun. It's not even a puzzle.
Yeah.
Just get wrecked.
A reminder to Pokemon speedrunners to, if you can, run Gen 4 Heart Gold Glitchless, because you can actually manipulate the trash cans if you do the movement properly. After you've run Gen 1 enough. And Gen 3 Fire Red trash cans, you really wish you could manipulate them. It is a bit more consistent in if you save before the second can, because then if you get it wrong, then you can reset and go check a different one. It's pretty slow though, like reloading a save, so not sure whether it's faster on average. It's pretty close, but I mean the fact that you actually have to reset for cans,
Yeah,
reset because of a
it
puzzle.
might not be faster on average, but at least it's consistent, and that's what matters there.
I mean, sometimes you just get lucky, but then there's a run where everything else goes well, and it's just like, oh, the run just died because I lost 2 minutes to trash cans. What a cool game. I've lost 3 minutes to trash cans in this game. I've lost 5 minutes in Fire Red. It's just ridiculous. Trash cans are pretty much the last major piece of RNG in the run. If you're going for risky strats, there's quite a bit of places where you can die later, but if you're just going for the consistent strats, at this point, Nidoking is going to get Thunderbolt after this fight. It's got Bubble Beam for the rock Pokemon. It's got Thrash. It'll be getting a bunch of other good moves later. It's a lot more execution based, so making sure you're crisp with your menus, making sure you're not taking extra steps in movement. It's a little bit harder once you get the bike.
Gen 1
So
bike
this
is
is a
like
lot
the
more
hardest
fun.
bike from all Pokemon games, right?
It's a lot more fun to run the game when you get past this point, because more is in your control.
Yeah.
And it's so consistent, so any practice that you put into the menus is going to pay off. It's not going to be different each time. It'll be a little bit different. For example, having Farfetch'd instead of Paris will change the menus a bit, but it's the most fun thing about this game for me is having such a consistent mid to late game that you can just really get good at it. And this menu here, where he teaches Thunderbolt, is one of the...
Did you want to say easy menus?
Best.
Because I messed up.
I was like, oh yeah, great menu. But it's really cool because it's such a simple showcase of what gen menus are all about. You're swapping an item to make it easier to access later, and then when you use the last of an item in your inventory, then the cursor resets to the top. So after swapping bike to the top, and then using the one Thunderbolt TM, the cursor goes to the top, and you can just get on the bike immediately.
Yeah, just by holding down an A, it will use the second item there.
There's going to be quite a bit more of that, swapping items to the top, using TMs, or using... and usually it's just using a TM and then the cursor goes back to the top. In later gens, your cursor doesn't reset. Like in Gen 3, even after you've gone through cutscenes and fights, the cursor... Nice sleep pattern miss. There.
Yes, nice sleep pattern miss, exactly.
Okay. But yeah, the cursor just stays where it is, and you have to remember where the cursor is, which is a different challenge. But in this game, the cursor, it resets, like your main menu, it resets to Pokédex after every fight, and then your inventory, it resets to the top. So like if you have to heal in the middle of a fight, it's not going to change how you menu later. But yeah, that first fight there is one of the more annoying fights. Usually it's just fine. It's 75% to not give that Bellsprout a turn, because it's 50% to get a 4-turn Thrash, and then if you're confused, it's 50% to hit through. If that Sleep Pattern had hit, it could have gone very, very bad.
Welcome in Rock Tunnel, where we can see every trainer.
Yeah, for those who don't know, on most consoles, so like on Game Boy, I actually don't know which, but like on Game Boy Player, which is what most people play on, and then on Gambate or BGB emulator, you can access a bunch of different color palettes. On console, you just hold, like in this case, you hold up and B on the Game Boy title screen, and that gives you this color palette, which allows you to see trainers in Rock Tunnel. And there's a bunch of others, so you just experiment with it. It's pretty fun, actually. And then you just go to, I don't know exactly what it is, but there's settings that are pretty easy to access on emulator, and you can just choose between a bunch of different color palettes. I recommend the pink pastel.
I'm gonna make a safety save here for the Oddish.
This is affectionately known as the cheater palette.
Yes.
Yeah, this Oddish coming up, it's a damage range favorable, but
It's not favorable.
it's not favorable with 2? Is it really not? Hold on, let me... Oh. What is it?
46.
I don't know, bad attack. It's not favorable. Okay, well, it's normally either favorable or guaranteed. And, I mean, that's very important because it has Stun Spore and Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder is a waste of time, and you can't wake up, you can't use a full restore because you're in the middle of thrashing, but Stun Spore is the worst because, like, you have to do the rest of the fight paralyzed, because if you try to heal during the fight, you can just get paralyzed again, and then you have to do the rest of Rock Tunnel paralyzed.
You have to do this Geodudes paralyzed, where they can speech you.
So yeah, you just try to do the rest of that fight paralyzed, and then you can get, like, Growl on the Bulbasaur, and then, like, get confused from Thrash because you don't kill it, and Leech Seed. Stun Spore is just awful. But I will say that Nidoking has a much easier time here than Squirtle, you try running this game with either the Squirtle route or the route that switches from Squirtle to Nidorino in the Safari Zone, you will just get destroyed by all these Oddishes. I mean, Nidoking just has such a huge advantage at this point in the game by having such good coverage. You know, Thunderbolt for the Slowpokes, and Bubble Beam for the rocks, and Thrash for just about everything else. Not only are these moves strong and versatile, but they have very fast animations.
Why did they even make like a Pokemon that learns all these TMs?
Yeah, it can't learn
these different schools.
But yeah, like Thrash, you're seeing in this fight how it's just a very quick shake animation every time it hits, and then it just, you don't have to reselect the move. It's just, eyes thrashing about.
It's mostly strong due to like, just only one power point for a complete fight. Like, we never have to use, for Thrash, we never have to use centers to replenish.
Yeah, Thrash is just amazing, unless you get unlucky with a short Thrash when you need a long one. But Nidoking's big advantage is yet to come. It gets even stronger as the game progresses. Even more consistent. The minor time losses you're seeing now from missing damage ranges, getting confused, are just not going to be there later. Once Nidoking gets Horn Drill, you just one-hit everything.
Oh, I practiced this next thing. Let's see if I can get it. I practiced it at 11 pedals.
Just don't thrash if you hit.
No, missed it! Oh, one tile too early. Damn. The hidden elixir. Yeah, we're gonna get all the hidden, or not the hidden, all the overpowered X items now. That girl we just passed, like, she can be a big troll if you don't look for her movement. I knew she went up, so I'm gonna take the down path. Like, but if I would have taken the upper path, like, she could have blocked me there.
So all the items that he's buying here are gonna save a lot of time later in the run. A Horn Drill, you're just gonna see in the next fight how overpowered it is. Repels, I mean, obviously, it's gonna save a ton of time not getting encountered. The Pokédoll is used basically as a sequence break, so that you don't have to do the rocket hideout to get the Silph Scope. You can just use the Pokédoll to escape the Marowak encounter. And then the freshwater you need to get past the guard.
Did I buy two?
I
I think I bought two setups.
Well, I'm a little bit behind on the stream, but yeah, the Rock Slide and Ice Beam are pretty necessary for this run. Yeah, you bought two.
I should still be fine on money.
Yeah, these X items are probably a little bit unfamiliar to some casual players, or they didn't think they were very useful, but in a speedrun, they are just essential. The X accuracies shine the most in this game because you're using a one-hit KO move in Horn Drill that normally doesn't hit, it's only 30% accurate, and then the X accuracy just removes the accuracy check entirely. But the X speeds and X specials are going to come in handy in a variety of ways later. One thing is you can't hit a one-hit KO move unless you're faster, so in some cases you need to use an X accuracy and an X speed. The X special, you actually don't need that many X specials unless you're using risky strats, but on one fight in particular makes life a lot easier. X special is nice in this gen because it boosts your special attack and special defense because it's just one stat.
Almost thought Ice Beam because I shopped in the wrong order. It's wicked.
Huh. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate actually that we have to get Rock Slide because we only use Rock Slide for the tower. In this case, it's only going to be used on 4 Ghastlies. For some reason, Nidoking can't learn Dig, so that's what we're stuck with.
I don't mind
The Ghastlies are too dangerous.
So I made a name for myself.
Oh yeah. We'll get there.
Hopefully I get a bit of damage here. Nice, got the 1 quick attack.
Oh yeah, this fight is where Horn Drill starts to go in. This fight can actually be done without Horn Drill, so it's not the best example, but it's pretty cool that as soon as you buy these X accuracies, you start abusing them. In some cases, Horn Drill is just necessary, like on Lorelei, like you're not going to take out a Dugong, a Slowbro, and Lapras, like those tanky Pokemon aren't going to go down to Thunderbolt, so it's just huge time save to get Horn Drill. But in this fight, it's used because it's such a fast animation and there's no chance to waste time with a critical, no super effective text. It's just a really quick animation, really short text box. You just one-hit everything. Also, using an X accuracy is like, it's really, really fast. It takes like 3 seconds to use an X accuracy and then get hit. Compared to a normal turn is like 5 or 6 seconds because it doesn't even say that your accuracy rose. It's just you used X accuracy and that's it. It's like the perfect speed item.
Okay, we're almost there. Not saving, because, like, what can go wrong?
But then we're in red bar here, that's right.
Yes,
I just
of course.
took so much damage. Alright, well, good luck.
Hey, I had them both.
Who are you?
I don't know. The Nidoran says it's me, but... But that fight is one of the scariest parts of the run, because I think all top runners want to be in red bar there, just to save time on the whole fly split. And then they're still in red bar there, and then there's the free heal pad after, so no one's gonna heal, it's super slow. But there's always this chance for Rock Slide to miss. And if that happens, you can get licked and be paralyzed, but even worse, you can get Nightshade and you just die on the spot. And I've died there a lot on my PB attempts. So for this part you would usually have to use the Silph Scope, but we didn't do the Silph Scope. So instead we're gonna use a Pokédoll, which does the same thing. It cancels out the
Some
fight.
people don't. Some people prefer the Japanese rule set where you do have to go get the Silph Co. But I kind of like the pacing of this better because Rocket Hideout is pretty boring. You have to travel through a bunch of spinning tiles that are really, really slow, and then you end up being over-leveled for the rest of the game, so it's not as challenging.
We just go with the rules, and the rules say we can do this, so we do this. It's fastest, and... Like, I've never even been to the Rocket Hideout, have you?
Yeah, because the music there is so good.
Okay.
It's the music that plays when you're in Bruno's room that you never get to hear because you just go straight into Bruno. It's like the best track in the game. Yeah, this fight is another example of where a corn drill doesn't actually save a turn here. Like, you can do this fight in 3 turns in some other ways, but because of how fast it is to use an X accuracy and use a couple of horn drills, it comes out like 3 seconds faster. And it's really nice that the big shopping trip in this game comes after you've fought a bunch of trainers in Rock Tunnel, because you comfortably have enough money to buy extra X accuracies, actually. Like in the route that I use for my PB attempts, I actually buy an X accuracy just for the purpose of stalling later. Because it's so fast to use an X accuracy, I don't actually use it so I can hit horn drills. Some of the other generations, the shopping trip is earlier.
You take 2 super potions to save money to get that extra X-Ac, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this would work.
Yeah, even in races, I just get 2 super potions and like 1 or 2 full restores.
I get 3 super potions just for like the chance of having a really bad Agatha.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you need super potions, I think.
Yeah. There's that chance if you buy 2 that you like get a bad Agatha and then you have to save before it lands and just reset until you hit YOLO drill.
Yes.
It hasn't happened, but it can happen. But yeah, it's amazing how little healing you have to do. Like, compared to Yellow, where like every gym leader has a chance of killing you, like in this game, the late game is like you're taking less damage in the late game against like level 40 and 50 pokes than you did in the early game going up against like Caterpies and Weedles.
The Caterpies are the scariest. One of these menus I really like your cursor's still on Pokemon and all you need to do is hold down, press A a bunch, and then hold up. And press A a bunch, and you get on the bike after using a Super Repel. Meanwhile, in these menus where we have to use items that are at the bottom of our inventory list, like we try to swap up stuff that we'll use later. I'm doing the X speeds here, and like later we're gonna swap up the X specials. And earlier we did the elixir on the Pokédoll menu, and we did the X accuracy on the fly menu. And this PP up really changed, like, the chance of this game being done at a marathon or being raced in general. Like, routing around that PP up, which Xarion did, mostly I think. has made it possible to run bad attack like this, and that's really useful.
Yeah, with bad attack like this, there's quite a few Pokemon in the late game that are damage ranges with Earthquake. You don't have enough Horn Drills to use a drill against them unless you get the PP up. So you get the PP up for that, but it also saves time and animations. Earthquake, which he's going to be getting in a few minutes in Silph Co, it has a flash animation. It's like the screen will flash for a second, and that's almost a second slower than the shake animation that you get from Horn Drill and his other two moves, Ice Beam and Thunderbolt. So even though getting and using that PP up takes about 10 seconds, you're only losing like 2 seconds. And then you don't have to risk damage ranges on Pokemon that can kill you. So it's a big part of why a Nidoran like this doesn't have to worry about the late game much at all. There's still the Venomoth range. That's pretty much it. I mean, the Muck range is not a big deal. If you have bad speed, the late game becomes a bit scarier. Or bad special.
Yeah, so in that regard, this is like a pretty good Nidoran. So this is Silph Co. We're gonna get to floor 10 first, and the best way to do that is to YOLO the floor number. And I missed pressing A, which is really good. This first trainer we're gonna fight here is only because like there's a TM here and a rare candy that we want to use. Usually, like you'll see people use Horn Drill here, but I'm not. Because on the next, one of the next fights where we fight a rival, I'm not gonna try to attempt Red Bar because it's way too risky for this setting. And trying to attempt Red Bar there means you want to take less damage here, and that's why a Horn Drill is just better because it's a guaranteed 2-turn instead of usually a 3-turn.
Yeah, we actually want to be taking some damage here, especially with our defense being kind of high. If not, there are a few backup strats, but hopefully we'll get to the standard strat that comes at the end of this section in Koga's gym. Yeah, here you see, you just saw Squirtle overriding Tail Whip to learn Surf. If he'd caught a Paris and taught that Dig, then Squirtle would have an empty move slot for Surf, and that would save 7 seconds. And now with Earthquake, we got our final move set of Horn Drill, Earthquake, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt. It's amazing coverage, and for the bulkier pokes, you can just Horn Drill them. Compare that to Blastoise, which was used before Nidoking. It doesn't get a one-hit KO move until Fissure after Viridian, beating Giovanni in Viridian City. And it gets Blizzard later, and Nidoking is just saving so much time from this point forward.
And after I'm done using these teleport tiles, we're gonna fight the rival. And we're taking some extra steps just to make sure he takes less steps. So we're clearing the path to the teleport tile for him, so he only has to walk 2 tiles. Instead of 4 walking around us. So here we want to take a little damage, like preferably I want to get like below 80. And we're taking
the
0
risky
damage.
No damage, nice. Well, make it interesting, but the standard risky strat for this fight, you actually don't want to take damage on Pidgeot, and then you use an X special on the Gyarados, and that Gyarados, all of Rival's Pokemon have good AI, and then that, in this gen, that means that if they have a super effective move, they'll always use it. He has just one super effective move, it's Hydro Pump, which does about 90% of Nidoking's health after an X special, so that puts us into Red Bar, and that's perfect because the next few fights you generally take pretty little damage or no damage, so you can just save a lot of time, but it's not worth it in a marathon because you can't just die and then try to come back here. I mean, it would just take way too long, so you would have to save multiple times and maybe heal in Koga's gym just faster on average to not try to get that Red Bar. But we'll be trying to get Red Bar in a few minutes. Need to take a little bit more damage.
And this is one of the hardest fights in the game, if you're in Red Bar at least. Well, it's a risky fight, and the reason it's risky is not because like you're not gonna kill these Pokemon, because like you will in one shot. It's because consecutive input lag in this game. Whenever you go through a menu and have to press the same button twice, like in this case I have to go from Ice Beam to Earthquake, press down twice, and then again to go back to Ice Beam, and then again to go back to Earthquake. There's always a little bit of lag doing that, and if you press your buttons too fast, like you may feel like your input gets eaten and you use a move that you weren't supposed to and you die. Like I've had runs die there, and I've seen plenty of people have runs die there just because they try to be fast, and then
yeah, this game is really weird with inputs where like if there's 2 consecutive jingles and you want to just B to frame perfectly clear both of them, it's just way easier to hold B for the first one and then like A for the second one. That also works because this game doesn't handle consecutive inputs well. It's like it'll just eat the second input if you try to do it too quickly. I haven't figured out exactly how it works, but you just end up being careful most of the time to make sure that you don't get your input eaten. Yeah, no damage here. It's going to be interesting. Oh, nice. The double T-Volt.
this is slower than getting damage somewhere else, but this is consistent.
Yeah, and before hypnocritical.
Excellent. Or you're trying to Thunderbolt and then it disables Earthquake and double confusion.
Yeah. Then like this situation here, you'll see why we want to take that damage in a few minutes, but this is one reason I just always like trying to get Red Bar off that Gyarados, is you don't have to worry about not taking damage before Koga. Yeah, I'll explain more about Red Bar once we get there. We haven't had too much of it this run, but it's pretty noticeable when you have it for an extended stretch. Pretty huge time save. Yeah, pretty much the only disadvantage to the moveset that we have here is it does require a few PP items. You saw him pick up a couple of elixirs in the tower, that hidden elixir in the underground, so those are all going to be used to replenish Horn Drill and Earthquake PP. Ice Beam and Thunderbolt don't get used quite as much, although where they are used, it's very handy.
This can be a very scary fight if you leave Silph Co in Red Bar. But it's one of those fights like you have to take in Red Bar to make the time save, like from having Red Bar worth it. Like you can't be going for Red Bar and then say, well, oh, let's heal here. Like, you would lose like almost everything you've gained. So you just go for it.
Yeah, that Hypno has random AI, so I mean it has confusion, but it doesn't lock into it. It can use Poison Gas, Disable, or Headbutt. It's just as likely. Confusion does about 50 damage. Of course, you can just critical, and then you're fine. So it's like 23% to die there if you enter in Red Bar. Also, if you don't rare candy before that fight and you have bad stats like this, then it can sometimes survive Earthquake plus Thunderbolt, and so you'd have to Earthquake twice, and that would make PP management a bit more difficult. The rare candy he used is also going to come in handy later with Red Bar management, so probably we'll see that.
And this is perfect HP for the Wheezing.
Oh, you got the muck though?
Yeah, a crit on muck.
So you were good.
There we go.
Nice X attack.
Yeah, managing your HP to be low enough and then getting X attack.
And Para. Yeah, he does about 90 on this defense. Without the X attack. So, you know, if he hadn't taken damage from that Rhyhorn and hadn't gotten the X attack, it would have survived the self-destruct. Not even been in Red Bar.
And we live again.
So yeah, it's pretty well known, because it's in most, if not all, Pokemon gens that rare candies will just revive your Pokemon. You don't actually have to use a revive, and in this case, we want to be at low health, and rare candy gives us just that. And it's really cool the way that this strat evolved. Like before intentionally dying to Koga, the route was just horn drilling Koga, and then it was using rare candies here anyway. So
And earthquaking Blaine, and like
yeah,
yeah, it was a fact. Like you needed to have good attack, like 10 plus DV attack, or
yeah.
or like you, it was unrunnable. Yeah.
But yeah, this is just naturally a really good place to rare candy anyway, so being able to die to Koga's Wheezing, it doesn't inconvenience the route in any way. And Koga has good AI, so like the Wheezing will never use it, Toxic or Sludge. It'll just always either X attack up to 2 X attacks, or it'll use self-destruct. Yeah, being a higher level here, level 43, is important because there are level 42 encounters here, and in order to repel away encounters, you need to be a higher level.
And this is the famous Gen 1, or the Pokemon Red spinner. He spins and he's a trainer, he just doesn't have any vision. So earlier on the last menu, I set my cursor to cancel. And just an easy way, since I'm adding rare candies now, my cursor will be in rare candy instead. It's just an easy way to always be able to do that fast. So now we're done with the side quests and we're finishing up all the trainers. First up is Erica. It's the trainer you do first when you have good special. Since we have good special, we can do that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat how the next 3 gym leaders, Erica, Sabrina, and Blaine, you can pretty much do in any order. What order is most optimal, or the safest, will depend on your stats. So there's a lot of cool micro routing that goes into this, like Erica's Pokemon are damage ranges with worst special, and then Blaine gives the badge boost to your special stat, so if you want to just one-hit Erica's Pokemon with Ice Beam instead of the slower animation Earthquake, you can just fight Blaine first. And in some cases, you can fight Sabrina early if you have good speed, or you'll want to delay her if you have bad speed.
And if you have really bad speed, then you can do Sabrina earlier. Because you're using an X speed anyway. But yeah, it's like the order of the gyms you're doing them, what moves you're using will make up where you want to use your elixirs. This is the usual route. It's the quickest, and like if you can do this this order, it's the easiest to do the PP management with. These questions take a really long time, and what may look like at me pressing yes all the time it isn't really. I'm pressing B and B equals no. It's just like I don't have to move my cursor to no.
Yeah, in yellow, you only get the full text for the first question. You know, like Pokemon quiz, and then, you know, get it right and the door opens. All of that text is only for the first question, and then all of the rest of them is just the question. So if you're used to playing red and then you switch to yellow, you might just mash and accidentally answer incorrectly, and then you have to fight a trainer.
But the questions are the same, right?
They are the same. Yeah, this blame fight is a good chance to explain a little bit more about how Red Bar saves time. So every time a Pokemon's cry, you know, every time a Pokemon comes out, their cry plays, and that can range from, you know, just a few frames like Pidgey's cry is like 10 frames to more than 2 seconds like Jinx's cry. But if you're in Red Bar, you can just play straight through that so that you don't lose that time. And every time that a Pokemon faints, there's normally a jingle that's like 40 frames, so like 6.7 seconds, and that also is skipped. And then when you level up, like Daily just did there, there's normally a jingle of 2.2 seconds, and that also is skipped. So over the course of like this Blaine fight, he's saving around 10 seconds, almost 10 seconds here by having Red Bar. And as you can see, completely free fight. That Growlithe can't attack because the only move it can use is agility, because agility is a psychic type and it has good AI, thinking that psychic is super effective. All psychic moves are super effective against the poison type Nidoking. There's going to be more of that AI manipulation later. Fun fact is that Blaine can also use a super potion from full HP.
Which I never get, but it's the fastest.
It's actually really fast, because then you can horn drill the Growlithe because you're faster than it. Oh, no save for Sabrina.
No, let's go.
In my GDQ run, I forgot during the Sabrina fight, like 5 DV attacks are range.
Really? Is 5 still a range?
Is it? I'm pretty sure it is with 5, and I just forgot. I went for it. It's not that bad to die here compared to like Silph Rival.
Crit's easy every time.
Crit bow. So that's it then. You got all the ranges. 2 DV attack is easy.
And even Route 3 wasn't that bad. So.
Yeah. Crit miss. You got the Oddish too. So yeah, 3 gym leaders with what might seem like threatening teams just completely dismantled in Red Bar. And then the most dangerous fight to keep Red Bar firm is actually the guy with the lowest level Pokemon who's not even a gym leader. It's pretty unlikely to die. Yeah, having Red Bar for this section, he's going to have it until Agatha, and he'll heal for Agatha. It saves more than a minute over not having Red Bar. So when these strats of dying to Koga and then reviving into Red Bar came about, the world record was 153 with Nidoking, and the Squirtle route had a 154, and that was still considered competitive. And then, you know, within like a week or two of these strats coming out, the red record got, the Nidoking route record got improved to 151, and since then everyone has run that, and now it's 148.
Ooh, so scary.
You made it?
Yes.
So it's about 15% chance to die to this fight. The non-crit, wow. You have to set up, the Machokes don't die in one hit. I mean, they can with Earthquake have good attack, but generally you're giving one turn to the first Machoke, and it's got 4 moves, and the only thing that can kill you is Karate Chop critical. Karate Chop is a high critical move, so it's like 70% to critical if he uses it. Black Belt can also use an X attack. Works out to be about a 15% chance to die. And again, you're saving more than a minute by red barring this whole section, so it's a risk worth taking even in a marathon. Got lucky with the non-crit there.
This fight seems completely free until you Gen 1 miss anything.
Yeah, it ends up being like the second biggest risk in this section to the Black Belt fight is just missing a 100% accuracy move, because Gen 1 programming is great. The ride-on here can't actually damage you. Its only, quote, super effective move is Fissure, and that does not work unless it is faster. And you'll see the same thing in the next fight, where Nido sets up on the lead Pidgeot, which has agility, and we'll just spam that. It's funny because, like, in competitive, poison ground typing is, like, terrible. But for a Gen 1 speedrun, that's perfect because the AI is just so dumb. Like, there's only one fight where it really hurts, and that's Misty. Everywhere else, you just take advantage of non-damaging, super effective moves.
Like, one of the first things that caught my eye when I started speedrunning this game is like how free this fight is. Like, oh, it uses agility. And it's a fight, like, if you don't know like how Gen 1 AI works, like, you're so scared of this fight. Like, oh my god, I'm so low HP, should I save? And then just does nothing.
I mean, I'd be afraid of this fight if I were Gunner.
Yes, but Gunner, like, I don't have an Oddish, so it's free.
I know, because I don't have an Oddish. How do I win this fight without Oddish? Yeah, this fight has another cool mechanic in which you're normally not faster than the Alakazam, like you can't outspeed it. And if you use an X speed, then you won't one-hit the Pidgeot, it'll be a 2-hit with Ice Beam. So you use an X special, and again, anytime one of your other stats gets modified, then you get a badge boost. So the X special raised his speed to be higher than the Alakazam's. And it's very crucial that he maintains the same level for the Alakazam that he had when he used the X special, because you lose those extra badge boosts when you level. So like for the Venusaur, he didn't have the speed boost anymore, didn't need it because Venusaur is not that fast. So the experience routing works out really well on how you can rare candy into Red Bar, avoid encounters in the mansion, and then for that fight you keep level 49 for the Alakazam so that you can X special and one-hit the Pidgeot.
And here's one of these nice menus where you just hold down, hold up, and all you do is mash A, and game does the rest. Oh, and we got the swag boulder first try. And Chet missed the swag boulder. So yeah, this puzzle, it takes a while, and like, there's not much you can do here. And just push the boulder and be fast.
Yeah, there's a bit of precise movement with the super repel. If he doesn't make any mistakes with taking extra steps,
of course.
the repel is meant to last until you fall through the last hole, and then you repel again before the last one wears off. Pretty cool Gen 1 mechanic that you can repel over existing repels, and so you don't have to see the repel wears off text box. It saves like a second. Yeah, other than that, pretty anticlimactic Victory Road. It's better and worse than in yellow, because in yellow the boulders have a ton of lag. Like this boulder right here goes like twice, like half the speed. But instead of hearing the bike music, you actually hear the Victory Road music in yellow.
And this is the next fight where we're gonna abuse Gen 1 AI. For the first turn we're gonna abuse Dugong, because it will always use Aurora Beam on flying Pokemon. So we switch out the ducks and it will use Aurora Beam. And Dugong also uses Rest turn 2, every time. And we use that to set up our X accuracy. And we're all set for the entire fight.
Yeah, for some reason certain moves are favored on turn 2. In later gens, there's a lot of like setup moves that are favored on turn 1. In this game, like Rest, Growl, Screech, some other moves have priority on turn 2. And so that stacks on top of the super effective AI that gives priority. Like Rest is a psychic type move, so Rest has a +2 priority, whereas Aurora Beam is just +1 for super effective. And only the moves with the highest priority can be chosen.
I'm gonna do a save here. it's highly unlikely that I die here, but usually, like, I was super low after the black belt fight, and now even a normal slam will kill me. Where usually your HP is around like 25 and only a slam crit kills you. And we need to set up one turn. Oh, and I forgot to elixir. But this Hitmonchan knows Reflect. And he also knows Mega Punch. Good thing we saved.
Yeah, normally you have only like a 4% chance to die here in Red Bar. But, because Black Belt usually doesn't attack you, but here, because it did, if the Onyx uses Slam, then that kills from 16 HP, or if it crits Rock Throw. But Bruno doesn't have good AI, it just randomly uses a move or X defend. It's both a blessing and a curse that Gen 1 AI doesn't look at what HP you have. Like in Generation 3, pretty much all of the boss trainers, the gym leaders, Elite 4, if they can kill you with a move, they'll use it. So in some respects, the fights can be manipulated better. But in others, it's more difficult because you have to heal more.
This is Agatha. Hello, Agatha. Agatha is considered, like, from full HP, like, almost free. Until everything goes down. So we start with an X speed, so we can outspeed all the things. Hypnosis Miss, which is good. And now we can one-shot all the Pokemon except one. And that one Pokemon can be really scary, because it's Golbat, and Golbat knows Haze. And Haze clears our X speed, which makes us not being able to outspeed all the other ones. Good thing it wing attacked, and now the fight is completely free.
Agatha is like 97% to win from full health, but you can lose a lot of time to hitting yourself in confusion and then having to heal off a bunch of damage for Lance. It's a huge concern if you're really close to your PB. Like if you get a really bad Agatha, you might have to take a lot of risks on the next two fights to make up that time. And there's just nothing you can do about confusion. Like full restore does not heal confusion in Gen 1. Haze actually clears confusion, so you can just have the Golbat use Haze, but then you can be slower than the Golbat and the Haunter bad speed, and then you're always slower than the second Gengar, and that has Confuse Ray. And if you get put to sleep by Hypnosis and you're at full HP, you have to use the Poke Flute instead of a full restore to heal, because using a full restore at full HP, or using any just regular status healing item like full heal or an antidote, will clear your badge boosts. Gen 1 is such amazing programming. Yeah, after that, the final two fights are very calculated, and you just have to not get critical.
Exactly. And taking that bit of damage from Agatha actually works out really good. Because it means, like, if this doesn't crit, I get put into a red bar.
Just so you guys know, we're going to do the new RTA timing, so I'll stop it right before the credits after the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So yeah, more cool AI manip here. Dragonairs can only use agility. In yellow, they don't have agility. They can only attack you. But in red, it's great. You often get hit into red bar by the Gyarados, and then you can just keep red bar for the rest of this fight. The X speed that he used, it makes him faster than the Aerodactyl, and also guarantees that the Ice Beam will kill Aerodactyl by giving an additional special badge boost. And then this HP is actually, it can be safe for champion. Like you could go in, use an X speed on turn 1 and be able to tank a wing attack with a defense badge boost, but healing is a lot safer.
Yeah, wing attack and crits, like Pitch Shield has a pretty high crit chance.
Yeah, this champion fight can go in several different ways. I mean, you can enter this fight at 1 HP and have a really fast fight, take no damage, or you can enter at full and get Sky Attack critical. Many good runs have been lost to Sky Attack critical. It's only 4% to happen, but it seems like a lot more than that. Always turn 1 Sky Attack.
All calculated.
Got the red bar. Well done. Pretty reasonable marathon time for 2 attack and a death to Bruno.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even have the stream open to look at the time. Yeah, this is a very respectable time.
Yeah, one last benefit to that PP up is you just horn drill the final fight, all 6 pokes. You see that the animations are turned on for this fight. Horn drill has a very fast animation, Earthquake is very slow. You would normally Earthquake the Alakazam if you had only 5 horn drills.
I think this will be Sub Lemon RTA. Yes, we are Hall of Famers now. GG. And this is where Ducks makes up time for having the long trades. I have 1 less Pokemon here in the Hall of Fame. Time. So yeah, this was Pokémon Red, 90% glitchless. If you want to learn more about the routes we did, like you can find everything on wiki.pokemonspeedruns.com. Thank you so much for commentating Exarion. It's really helpful, and I couldn't do the running and commentating myself, so thanks a lot for that.
Yeah. Good run. And one last note about that. if you want to learn like Pokemon speedrunning, if you want to get into it, Red Glitchless is a really good category to start with. It's really easy to jump into, even if you don't know a lot about speedrunning or about Pokemon. You can just fire up an emulator and use save states, speed ups. There's a bunch of resources that the community has created. So highly recommend trying that out if you're looking to get into Pokemon speedrunning.
Yep. And your final time was 1:59.50, so congrats on the sub 2.
Nice, first sub to RTA.
Alright, well, thanks for running. I'm gonna switch to transition and mute you guys, so...
Right.
Yeah, thanks. We're,
Yeah, thank you.
Pearl Glitchless is up next, Crafton's running that, and we'll be up with